NFT is digital asset.
The next era of the internet.
It's been more than 1 year since NFTs entered the mainstream awareness into the fashion world. Starting as digital collectibles, they have evolved and translated into long-term and tangible business opportunities. Why? What we wear is one of the clearest messages to define who we are, and fashion is a $2.5 trillion global industry that is present in every corner of the earth. Nowadays, fashion consumers seek and have a strong appetite for innovation. Digital demand for fashion and luxury brands is expected to reach sales of $50 billion by 2030. NFTs, on their side, could expand the luxury group total addressable market by more than 10% in 8 years, changing the fashion business the way we know it today. Let's go back to the roots to what has been the importance of one of the most exclusive branches of the fashion industry that celebrates art, creativity, and craftsmanship. Haute couture is the term that refers to the tailoring of garments in an exclusive and handcrafted manner from scratch till the end. These pieces are made with the finest fabrics and the greatest attention to detail by exclusively accredited artisans who devote literally hundreds of hours to each garment, which are strictly made to measure. At present, only 16 designers are permitted to call themselves haute couturiers, besides the corresponding members or guests, and are required to present 50 made-to-order looks per year, each one with a minimum of 1 fitting, realized by a full-time staff of at least 20 in an atelier in Paris. The haute couture client is and always has been wealthy, a gown typically costing no less than 40,000 euros. It's a very small niche group, right? In the tangible world of haute couture, the most important element is that I know that I am the only person in the world who has a custom-made garment made by a designer for me. This is the whole allure of haute couture: belonging, owning, showing up, and standing out. In that way, some experts define couture as a luxury place phenomenon of culture, a mental attitude understood as a characteristic of the human social, and that luxury is not conceived without the look and admiration of the others. What does this mean?
Pertenecer a un clan que me acepte. Entonces ese porcentaje de personas, como todos los seres humanos, necesitan cierta comunidad que los acerque. Si esa comunidad los une a través de características un poco menos cercanas a lo básico de los instintos, como sería la necesidad de ser reconocidos, la necesidad de diferenciarse de los demás, que el clan, que la comunidad tenga esa característica que se refuerza entre todos, pues es lo que yo creo que mueve a todo lo que está alrededor de ese nivel de la moda.
Haute couture is that it's not touching a lot of people, you know. It's a lot of dreams. It's a lot of image. People follow the shows. I think fashion shows are now B2C events. They drive a lot of attention. And post-pandemic, people follow them on social. They watch the show live. Most of these pieces will never see the street. Very few people will ever touch them or own them.
But I think most importantly, you know, haute couture pieces almost function as collectibles themselves. They're almost very rarely worn. They're, you know, bought by a very limited number of people because they're just very expensive items. In a museum-like way, like they may wear it kind of to special events occasionally. But essentially, these are keepsakes. These are items that, you know, they're going to pass down through generations, you know, through particular families.
So, who actually buys haute couture? Usually, we're talking about the 0.001%, meaning 800,000 people belonging to the world's wealthiest high network of individuals. Mainly, they come from China, Russia, and Middle East, as well as some Americans and Europeans, and of course, celebrities who get to borrow gowns for red carpet appearances. Meaning that historically, couture has hardly been known as the fashion's most casual niche. Today, and although everything has changed due to the immediacy in which we live, the value of haute couture and who buys it is still relevant. Yet the percentage of millennial couture clients worldwide is growing and fast. It's no secret that millennials aged between 19 and 35 years old have exercised their powerful influence of the luxury industry for some time now, increasing the demand for bespoke, personalized experiences. In addition, Gen Z and Gen Alpha upcoming generations are on top as well, with some shifts leading.
And when we look at what is important to the customers, we look at what is the arbiter of value. And probably one of the main arbiters of value overall is time. So, according to statistics, people spend about 7 hours per day digitally connected. So whether it be using their phone or using their computer. So every year this number grows exponentially. And the more and more time people spend in the digital space, the more that space gains value.
What are these generations interested in? And I'm sure you are all asking yourself the same question I am. How could NFTs improve and reshape haute couture's consumer experience outside of the physical realm? Welcome to this journey, in which we will discover together the true value of these digital tokens that have revolutionized the fashion universe. By definition, NFTs are digital assets that cannot be transferred or exchanged for anything else. They have a unique value and can be thought of as certificates of ownership of physical or virtual assets, and have to do with the value attributed to something collectible, not in mass, but it's single. However, they have upgraded their value, and now digital twins, loyalty tokens, VIP memberships, and access to events are some of the utilities that have come to light. They are part of two important concepts that have been hearing a lot lately: the Web3 and the Metaverse.
So my definition of Web3 is a new internet, read, write, own, and monetize data, information, and digital assets. And the Web3 is linked to the technology of blockchain, to the NFTs, to in long term to the metaverse.
An NFT is a digital asset. It's a very basic norm that has been designed originally to associate a digital asset to an imprint on a blockchain.
El metaverso, yo creo que surge como una evolución normal de la especie humana a medida que vamos ocupando más universo de este y que se vaya viendo más complicada, no sé, el traslado, el uso de recursos, etcétera. Entonces van surgiendo o los humanos vamos recibiendo inspiración, y de ahí va surgiendo la posibilidad de que el metaverso nos acerque a experiencias un poco más sentidas, pues no tanto como la experiencia física misma, pero sí para facilitar la experimentación de las sensaciones y de los sentimientos que actualmente pues se hacen en la vida real.
This said, Web3 on its part represents the next era of the internet. It's about rewiring the inner workings of the web and changing how information is stored, shared, and owned. In practice, many leading brands are relying on Web3 for the community building, which is central to the customer journey in the virtual era, adding NFTs to their customer experiences, enhancing value and direct contact with them.
The NFT itself is just a new data. It's a new primitive. And so what's going to be central is where you store them, and you store them in a wallet. And this wallet is going to become your digital profile, basically. So what I see is that tomorrow, instead of referring to our social media profile, we will refer to our wallet. This wallet will have an address that we can share, and within this wallet will be what we want to share about ourselves when we interact with a digital platform.
It's not an escapist world where everyone is at home wearing AR glasses 24/7. This would be out of reality and has nothing to do with the new strategies of doing business and interacting. What NFTs are allowing and will allow in the future is the enhancement of the shared values they have with haute couture. For these reasons, some businesses focused on NFTs and digital worlds, such as the dematerialized, have challenged the limits of the reality we all know to deliver experiences that can alternate between the physical and the digital.
We want to make NFTs become kind of normalized and not feel like a big deal. I often try to say to people that an NFT is a bit like the best receipt you've ever had because of the amount of information it can tell you about the provenance of who created it, when you created it. And then not just that, it's also about kind of loyalty.
When I think about a digital, an NFT haute couture, I think exclusivity, belonging to this very elite community, uniqueness, custom made, perhaps piece. And they are all adjectives and that I would use to describe like a normal haute couture dress. So perhaps that is the key point, right? That we are not looking at a change of product, we're looking at the change of its form.
The biggest question mark around NFTs is the so what factor. So let's take a look to some of the utilities arising. One of the most well-known use cases of fashion and NFTs are digital twins. Let's see what are they about.
This idea of like the one-to-one is really interesting, especially when we're thinking about like digital clothes or owning like something in the physical world and then having a digital counterpart to it. And we're seeing lots of experimentation in this space. The digital representation, like the digital twin, can be a one-to-one, or it can be this like extra supplemental experience that is added on. So you buy a pair of sneakers and you also get access to like exclusive video content, let's say, or you get access to those sneakers in digital form that your avatar can wear in your platform of choice or whatever it is, right?
Digital twins have different goals depending on what the brand wants to achieve. For example, to create a certain engagement in virtual worlds so Gen Z or Gen Alpha can have a digital asset would bring a sort of uniqueness in their styles.
New generations perhaps perceive even more value in a digital asset than in the physical one. And the fashion industry doing is aimed at customers. So they have to adapt to the customer values, to this shift.
Talking about younger generations, the main focus for brands is not with a commercial purpose. What they want to have is awareness and visibility within these young communities that are not able to afford luxury or couture right now, but thanks to the gaming engagement and also the dressing avatars matter, they will have the idea of the brand since they are very little, which will allow brands to target these new consumers and maybe understand their purchasing power and where are they investing.
If I want to wear, I don't know, like a Schiaparelli dress from the 1950s in my next presentation or on Zoom at some point in the future, I think I will be able to potentially have that revenue stream. And what's going to be interesting is that if the brands don't do it, then other like regular creators will start to produce versions of that, which is something we've seen in the gaming world for years, like in Grand Theft Auto and things like that. So it makes sense for the brands to get involved on a controlled level, and it's a revenue stream for them. So it's like crazy if they don't kind of consider it, if that makes sense.
The other thing is to create a digital asset with information from the suppliers, from the authenticity of their product linked to the blockchain, which is very useful to create a certificate. One or another, some brands like Dolce & Gabbana, which is the biggest example of a couture collection diving into NFTs, in 2021 partnered with UNXT, a curated NFT marketplace for digital luxury and culture, to launch a 9-piece NFT collection, 5 digital twins and 4 entirely virtual creations during the Alta Moda show in Venice. Auctioned on the UNXT website, each NFT included the following benefits: the original sketch of the object, access to future haute couture shows, a 2-week installation of all things in Dolce & Gabbana's flagship shop, and the physical piece. Here comes another utility. NFTs as proof of ownership and authenticity, including provenance certificates.
This is a new form of data. This is a new, I would say this is a new way to prove something in the digital space. And so if you have good reasons to distribute proofs that I own, proofs that I've done, proof that I'm a member, and if this proof has a good reason to be interoperable. So, for example, I got this, I bought this haute couture dress from brand A, and thanks to that, I can show up at Milan Fashion Week and get a seat at any show.
What NFT allows you to have is that same idea of validation that's also forever engraved in the blockchain technology. So anyone at any time can verify that, and there is no way to fake it. This community aspect of a very elite group of consumers still remains relevant, and it's still the same. It's just that now it's translated into digital assets.
The provenance of a custom-made couture dress can come with a verification tool as a digital NFT telling the story of the garment, who made it, how was it made, and this will give it a sort of an archival perspective.
The person who's kind of that kind of haute couture client could get something which is, yes, digital, but it still is collectible, and there's like a connoisseurship, or there's a kind of aspiration of achieving something at a certain level. Like maybe you've got, I don't know, 10 couture pieces now. What does that mean? Or does it mean that you're, I don't know, invited to a certain thing?
Which leads us to think, how could a couture NFT function as a membership or loyalty tokens, give people access to exclusive clubs or events?
I don't think that the NFT itself is valuable for a luxury brand, but I think that the way that NFTs are acting as gateways to communities and to as access points to audience members, I think that's where the value is.
A very good example for this could be the latest certificate or proof of attendance that stands for POAP, Proof of Attendance Protocol. Let's say that this is an NFT or a token that you will receive when you attend an event, and it will be time-stamped and it will certificate that you were there.
The NFT is completely useful for haute couture. With POAP, you are in the fashion show of haute couture, and it's a very cool moment and unforgettable moment, and you distribute some POAP of the all viewers. The NFT is a key entry to exclusive club, to have access to exclusive events, to have access to exclusive products. So we can think about the NFT linked to this haute couture event to create a sort of community of fans. And this NFT is a key entry to view the fashion show of haute couture, or to buy some clothes about the fashion show or things like that.
Adding experiences that further enhance the idea that you belong to this exclusive group may have many possibilities that still need to be explored cautiously and in depth. Rewarding couture customers can become a difficult task when you think they already have everything, and for this reason it's being said that you can create the magic and allure through the content and the experience.
That aspect of membership with NFTs, it's more about kind of giving access to what you can add apart from that luxury garment. So it's not just about, an haute couture piece, but perhaps, if you have an NFT, you could be brought into the studio and see them creating it. It's not just going to be a fitting, but it could also be the process of seeing the beading or, the application of embroideries or something like that.
The owner of that NFT is able to unlock certain experiences, or maybe even, get to certain areas backstage during couture shows or something like that. Maybe it's you get to have afternoon tea at the Ritz with the designer if you're not already on a one-on-one kind of relationship with them. There's still things like that could be offered as a reward, I guess.
If you have a haute couture dress from Chanel, you're probably not gonna wear it many times, at home, wouldn't that be interesting to be able to show that you have that, to be recognized somewhere else? I don't know, maybe at a restaurant, anywhere. I mean, anywhere where the fact that you're part of this small club, because that's a club, you know, that's a very small informal club. Outside of it, I think it's really what should be the main focus.
Now let's talk about NFTs as democratizers of couture. Some experts assure that one of the biggest utilities NFTs can offer to the exclusive haute couture world is increasing accessibility.
One of the reasons that myself and Marjorie created this business is because I can't afford a haute couture dress in real life, but maybe I can afford to display one in my home as a hologram, or to wear one on an avatar and something in real life.
There's really the opportunity to make fashion more accessible, and we've seen with every evolution in media, whether that's like the advent of social media like Twitter and Instagram, as media becomes more widely used and is in the hands of more people, the fashion industry has become more and more accessible to many people. Kind of like the same way that luxury brands started going into like fragrances and beauty. It's because they're like, this is where the markup is, right? Like this is where there's a lot of room to make money. And I think with digital assets now, there is room to make money, but it's going to be for those people that like either really love the brand or who want a piece of the brand and can maybe afford like a keychain as opposed to like a whole handbag.
You can typically wear an haute couture piece kind of like once or twice in a lifetime. And when it remains a museum object or one that very few can access, it is no more than that, a beautiful object with little else to offer.
You are not selling an actual fabric or work, you're selling the perception of value, like the uniqueness of it, the fact that you're the only one to have this piece. And it's exactly the same when it goes to NFTs.
I see a future where the first time a consumer might purchase a brand, a luxury brand or a couture brand, it's not necessarily going to be a perfume or makeup like it would have been historically. It's probably going to be a digital something, whether that's for Roblox or whichever kind of like creative platform comes up next.
And why is this happening? Because for many people, the boundaries that used to be within haute couture into the physical realm are now blurrier thanks to NFTs that are giving access to more people. What some brands from the couture field have done is mixing their approaches and strategies between completely digital collections and others that combine with the physical. Rebecca Minkoff, who has collaborated with the Dematerialized platform with both a collection created from digital only and another one based on one of her iconical physical collections, or Clara Dagan has created this couture collection that was also driven by technology to have some light installations on the dresses, and then developed AR filters for that collection and also collaborated with the digital fashion platform DressX, where you could buy these outfits digitally. What about fully digital couture and digital experiences?
Or you have digital fashion brands. So you have someone like Aurora Bros who kind of focuses on craftsmanship in the digital space, and that, you know, equates to a certain number of hours working on a garment. There's a kind of similar level of craftsmanship and detail in the garments as well. So I think that that's what it looks like right now, and I think that that will expand. There'll be more digital fashion companies and, you know, traditional fashion brands who are engaging in this very high level, high quality kind of digital garment creation, and that those might or might not be tied into NFTs depending on, you know, how the brand sees it as an evolution of their own kind of identity in Web3.
We can imagine that I watch the show with my laptop. I can explore different type of view in the fashion show. I can click up the garment. I can have some information about the garment, the authenticity, the supplier, etc. I can click to buy the digital twin of the garment to complete my dressing or complete my whole skin in a virtual world.
That if you are an emerging designer, the barriers to entry of you selling your assets are much lower than there ever were before, because maybe you don't need a magazine editor or a high profile stylist to feature you in a magazine, or an influencer to wear you in order to get dressed, you or kind of sell your kind of like products. But what you do is you do need to kind of like work the system. So for instance, you need to have a Discord, you need to talk to different people's kind of like communities. So there is a different kind of communication skill set, if you like, and it has to be authentic, it has to be two-way.
As there are so many options, it can become confusing. For brands, it's either a great opportunity or a major failure. For customers, it's an inevitable change that came to stay. As it happened with social media, the most traditional generations will adapt one way or another.
Una de las limitaciones es que pase la generación de nosotros los viejos, porque somos los que vamos a estar comparando. Los que vienen ahora van a comparar menos, entonces emocionalmente van a seguir con todos los instintos primarios que hablamos al principio, que son los que son automáticos, vienen en el diseño humano, entonces esos no van a desaparecer.
In all of these proposals, NFTs play a fundamental role. The opportunities to dive into these possibilities are endless, but navigation in the seas of haute couture is still very early and needs more time to develop.
For the moment, all this ecosystem is very, very, very niche, even if a lot of people and a lot of big companies and actors talk about Web3, crypto, NFT, metaverse. It's quite small. It's quite small because there are less than 100,000 wallets, active wallet for NFT, for example, in OpenSea. So it's difficult to say that send a digital asset or send an NFT to people in the fashion show from Haute Couture will be create an engagement for these customers.
Today, very few people know the real and true meaning and value of NFTs. For this reason, education and staying true to their DNA will be useful for brands to find compelling reasons and see if they want to innovate with NFTs or not. Putting NFTs in the hands of consumers is only the first step. The real question is how to leverage them with CRM purposes. What are brands are gonna do with them? And how are they gonna make it so valuable that people is gonna prefer using them than ignoring them?